All right. Hi, I'm Ricky from Rev Consultants. So I help subcontractors with their tendering. So basically, my goal is to help you make this process as simple and successful as possible, so that you can win those um, bigger contracts with less stress. I jump on here on a regular basis, so feel free to jump on, ask me a question, or DM me anything as well that you feel like would be good to cover, because this is your opportunity to basically ask me anything. All right, so the topic that I've chosen for this week for discussion is tender planning and effectively streamlining the tender process and your tendering. I mean, even I'm guilty of this, finding myself late nights, last minute cramming to get tendering over the line. So losing my valuable time to tendering. It happens to everyone. Um, there are ways, obviously, that can minimize this and streamline this process to give you that time back. So let's talk about a few of those. So one, um, picking and choosing quality tenders. So I think this is important, being selective with what you choose to go for, and in particular, not wasting time on suboptimal opportunities. So if an opportunity's not right, rather than putting the time in to submit a tender, just say no. The more time you've got to focus on the better opportunities, the more time you've got to do a quality tender for those. So pick and choosing what you go for is obviously going to help you with your time. So this kind of leads into the second point. So saying no, and saying maybe on the next one we can do it. Um, for these opportunities that aren't right, obviously being selective and only choosing what you want to go for rather than going for everything can help you with your time here. Right, number three that I've got here is getting your people sorted. So who in your team can help with what, and do they need upskilling? Can you outsource anything? So the way that I like to work with tendering is splitting the load between different people. You can get some elements of the tender from administration people. Um, so, for example, quotes, chasing quotes from suppliers, etc., might be something that an administrator can do. Putting together some of the documents an administrator might be able to do, as well as there's professionals out there that you can outsource this stuff to, like myself, who can help you with the various elements of the tender as well. So, splitting the workload between members of the team. Is obviously a way that you can pull everything together by sharing the workload, and not one person doing everything. My preferred way to do it, actually. My number fourth point is implementing a clear and simplified tendering process, so that you and everyone involved in your tendering know exactly what they're doing every single time and when to do it. So when I work with companies, this is one of the first things we look at. What is the tendering process that we're going to follow to make this work, to make it easier? So that's from receiving the tenders, to then pricing it, who's going to do which element, pulling it together, creating the submission documents, and sending it off. So getting that process down in a written format or a flow chart that you can put up and follow, is a really effective way to kind of streamline that tendering and get you starting the various different elements of the tender at the appropriate times and avoiding the cramming. So this leads also into the fifth point, which is planning the tender out. So starting with going out to suppliers for quotes at first knocks. Get your supplier quotes out first. Then going on to creating a program, for example, or completing the estimate, then going on to doing the written section, but planning out how much time you need for each bit and starting immediately rather than leaving everything to the last moment. A very good first thing to do, and I touched on this, is getting your supplier quotes out. Anything that you need materials or subcontractor quotes for, that can go out quite early, and getting them to start looking at that while you know stuff other stuff can happen in the background, especially when they need time to look at it as well. And one last point number 6 here, might seem obvious, but it's definitely effective. But asking for more time if you need it, an extension on the deadline. We do this quite regularly, and I would say more than 50%, maybe 75% of the time, the client is kind of willing to say, okay, we'll give you an extra time on the deadline. And this is particularly if you notify them quite early in the process and say, look, with what we've currently got on, we don't think we'd be able to meet your tender deadline, but if you gave us an extra week, we will submit a price. Most clients are willing to give you that extension so that they get your price. So it's worth an ask. Easy one, ask for an extension on the deadline. So, I mean, there's a few different steps that might help with getting your time back. I know from a personal perspective, particularly the planning out the tender and implementing a process help very, very much with this, getting your time spread out over the tender period rather than crammed. That helps me very, very well. Sometimes easier said than done. We do help our clients with this stuff, and they find it very effective. So, yeah, don't be scared to reach out if you need some help as well. In summary, then, basically, I think from personal experience and my recommendations, having a process that you and the team can follow for tendering, it will help you organize your time, streamline the tendering process. Everyone involved should know what they're doing, what they're contributing. It will help you avoid those late nights, cram sessions to get tenders over the line. All right, so that's it for this one. Nice and short and sweet. Stay tuned. I'll have another live coming up in the near future. We'll go through another impactful tendering topic. I've also got a freebie that I have on my LinkedIn profile. If you want to check it out, it's called 7 Steps to Tender Success, which you can download, and gives you the process to follow for tendering, the overall process. There's also a link in my LinkedIn profile to book a consultation with me if you want to speak about your tendering. So get in touch. Thank you, and see you again soon.